go. The next project. So it's a 1977 Toyota Landcruiser. Straight six engine, 4-speed transmission. Of course, it's 4-wheel drive. And what this video is for is just to kind of give you an idea of what the next project is going to involve in the way of suspension work, body work, interior work. After buying it, I did enough to it to get it where I could go down the road with it and have a little fun. So last summer I drove it around like this. A lot of comments about leave it the way it is, it's cool the way it is. It is anything but cool the way it is, and it's basically fallen off the frame. So the idea here is to rebuild the body. For me, this is how a project like this will begin. I create myself, this is just a one subject notebook. I create myself a project book. Basically all the pages and stuff, but I'm going to lay out my plan of action and detail the things that I'm going to have to do. Along the way, I make sketches detailing some of the ways that I might incorporate a bracket into something. So I have a sketch pad that I can work with as well. And then when I make templates for the body parts that I'll be creating, the problem for me is I can't remember what I lay down a pair of pliers, what I've done with them. So having a box like this when I make a template so that it doesn't get destroyed, misplaced, lost completely, or thrown away, I will put my templates in here and they will be saved. And when I need one, because typically, let's just say these A-pillars here, I make a template to do whatever I have to do. Basically, I can just reverse it and do the other side. Same thing with the rocker panels and the inner rocker on that. Just basically reverse it. Same thing could be said for these corners of the floor pans. I may cut this back a little further because she looks a little crusty. Looks a little crusty down in here. So I may cut this back a little bit more because I'm assuming that underneath here it may look a little bit like what's going on over there. So we'll just make sure that that's not going to be an issue. So this is basically where the project begins and how it begins, and how I'll be able to follow it through to the end and make sure I've completed it. Starting at the front, we're going to see some things that are painfully obvious. This thing was equipped when I got it with a plow. Way too heavy for the front end on this, I think. So the bumper, I don't know that this is a stock bumper, but it was cut out for a winch, which one will be going back in. But all this crap here has got to get cut away. I may just scrap the whole thing and start over with whatever we're going to do for that. There's some trim pieces missing off the front. You can see here, I put these basically trailer lights on the front for turn signals, but front fenders are basically eaten away. Underneath, that's a whole nother story. Floorboards, rocker panels. In here, in the driver's area, that's air conditioning. But you know, the crazy thing is up in here she's solid, back in here she's solid. So I don't really need to worry a whole lot. I can rebuild this particular panel. You can see under there that the cross bracing under the body is going to need to be replaced, and I will probably fabricate that. I'm not sure that I can even buy that part, and I don't know, may not be interested in buying it anyway. But the other side seems to be in better condition. These A-pillars here down at the bottom will need to be reconstructed. I think that's 16 gauge material. Easy enough to repair that and get that in place along with the inner rocker. Passenger side is just as bad. Front fender basically eaten away. There is a fender support that runs through under here. That seems to be okay, and the inner fender seems to be okay. So we're not going to worry a lot about that. Got a little bit of rust in the vent here, and it's rusted through. That can be repaired, or I can just make a whole new door for it. Again, rocker panels basically shot. The floorboards on this side are not horrible. A little bit of a hole right here. Can take care of all that. There's a couple of holes under the gas tank, smaller ones. Can take care of those. from and of course the rocker panel and the inner rocker. Those will need to be recreated. Possibly thinking right now doing a half tub on this, which means I would purchase from here back, which would save me just a gazillion hours in work as to having to recreate this. One of the difficult parts about doing this vehicle is this particular body line right here that goes in, crimps around. These are all the bolt holes for the top, and of course inner fender wells. What I have found is this is all replacement metal. This is all replacement metal. This is all replacement metal over here, and we do have an original body pan right there. There's a patch panel up in there, but that is huge having that right there. And then of course all the bracing underneath. So we're going to look closer at that before we make the decision. This is where the actual, and you can see it's pretty bad. The hard top actually had to be welded onto this. They had scrap metal patched along in here, and they welded it down so it wouldn't fall off. So this just kind of tells you where we're at. Suspension work, there's some areas in the frame where it looked like it was boxed, and the frame was where the frame is sandwiched together. Rust got in between those layers, and going to have to deal with that. So there's not a lot. You can't just replace a panel and weld it in because everything is junk back here. So basically it has to be started over with. And again, a half tub would basically come right there. And so I just basically have to take care of what's ahead. The new parts for the bead roller is going to make that easy peasy. So the hood's in good shape, the windshield frame is in good shape, the roll cage is in good shape, but this is how she looks inside. This is what we're working with. This is what we're gonna get back on the road. Needs a new windshield, obviously. The spare tire bracket is good. I have a jerry can that I bought at an estate sale. Jerry can and its holder, mounting bracket, or whatever you want to call it. These will be also, these tail lights will be migrated back to the originals, but there's going to be a few things in the way of some slight resto modding done to this. I'm not going to go back to an original color. Never cared for the original colors of these things, most of them, other than the sand or the desert colors that they did come out with. I like those. After posting the video on the bead roller and talking about the next project, I had several guys ask me, what is the next project? And I had mentioned the Toyota Landcruiser. Well, that was it. And that's what we're going to be working on, getting her straightened away. It's going to be fun. And we'll just take you along for the ride.